So, are you a gamer who's been thinking about going and seeing the new Tomb Raider movie? Are you skeptical about video game movies? Well, this Tomb Raider movie is actually pretty decent for a video game movie. If you have played the Tomb Raider games, the first one, and the reboot series, from 2013, or Rise of the Tomb Raider, which again, really good video games, yeah, but their graphics are good, so it's almost like a video, whatever. Then you'll probably enjoy this movie. Now, you're not going into a video game movie to expect some mind-blowing cinematics, some crazy story that's gonna be like, oh my gosh, I never saw that coming, what a twist. Like, no, this isn't an Academy Award winning movie, but it's a fun movie, it's good, and it's not overly cheesy. So if you were a fan of the Tomb Raider video game reboots and you're excited for Shadow of the Tomb Raider, then you'll probably enjoy this movie. I actually saw it opening day, but I got completely roasted snowboarding and I looked like a lobster in the face, really bad sunburn. So I wasn't able to make the review video. So, sorry this is about a week late. But here's my personal take on the movie. Now, I have a bachelor's degree from the University of Alabama in film and media production. I have an IMDb page, which is a little bit cheesy. I don't really like linking to it, so if you can find me, then whatever, but I'm not giving you any info. So I know about movies. I've worked on movie sets. I've been on movie sets as background actors. I've been an extra in some big movies from Legendary Productions. If you've heard of the studio Legendary, they did like The Dark Knight and some other big movies. But I've also been more of a person behind the camera, and I've done script editing, just done countless stuff again. So I'm not just some dumb person who doesn't know anything. So my personal review on the Tomb Raider movie is the action is pretty good. I'm not trying to be a little bit biased. Like, I feel like me being a Tomb Raider video game fan would actually make me a little more skeptical and critical of the movie versus some random people that are going in and being like, hey, let's go see Tomb Raider, it'll be fun for the family. Like, I'm like, these are some of my favorite video games. They better not mess this up. This better not be like some Super Mario movie. Like, I don't know. So I went in being a little skeptical. Some people said if you're trying to expect it to be exactly like the 2013 reboot game, then you're going to be disappointed. Well, I think that would be kind of boring if you went into this movie expecting it to be the exact same game that you played. Like, you're going to be like, I know what happens next. Oh, wow, this is that part. Like, no, there's some similarities. Matthias is the bad guy, like in the video game. Spoiler alert, you should have played the game 2013. So go ahead, go play that game. But, so obviously he shares similar name. The differences between the game and the movie is Laura doesn't have her whole crew of friends, like I think she lands on the island with like 4 or 5 people. No, this time she just goes alone with some guy that she gets a boat with. Other differences, there's no crazy mythical ghost battle thing towards the end. This is more of a, I guess, kind of like scientific and logical perspective type of movie. And her father, again, spoiler alert, doing a spoiler, so you can fast forward maybe about 20 seconds through this video if you're not ready for this, but spoiler, it's not really a big one, maybe, but it's gonna happen in 3, 2, 1. The difference with the games in this movie that I didn't really see coming, and I was just kind of like, what? Huh? But it wasn't like a big deal breaker in the movie, is her dad's alive. So, obviously in the video games, her dad just disappears on a journey and you never see him again. This movie, she finds her dad on the island. And I was thinking at first, okay, this is gonna be like some mind trick. This is like a hallucination. Nope, her real dad's there. So you at least get to see some type of like father-daughter bonding, which is actually kind of nice because you get to kind of see some more like backstory of her and her dad. when they were a kid, and then when she was a kid, and then him seeing her as an adult. So there's some a little emotional scenes, but it's just nice having that perspective. And then there's a few twists and turns. Again, the movie, it's not like the video game, which a lot of people say they were expecting it to be like. I mean, there's some similarities. Like, you have the plane that's kind of like near the edge of the waterfall, and some of the names are the same, and it's kind of the same like origin story about like a powerful queen being buried, and that may have powers. I mean, it just kind of takes like the blueprint of the first game and like a few similarities, and then it just does its own thing, which I think was really great. Just watch the whole thing. Like, the only negative thing I guess I could say, with some of the cons, I guess I'll start with the cons and then go into the pros of the movie. It starts off kind of slow, maybe the first 20 minutes. Like, it just kind of shows you like, hey, this is Laura. She's trying to be like everybody else. Where the video game, she kind of just starts off just kind of rich, doing whatever, from my understanding and that I can remember. But in the movie, she's going around. There's some dumb bike race at the beginning of the movie, and it's just, I guess the movie makers kind of just shoved it in at the beginning of the movie to show you, hey, this isn't some super rich girl who's also mega athletic. I mean, they're trying to show you, hey, she's like everybody else. So it's kind of slow, seems a little bit forced. I mean, it's okay. Some kind of open-ended parts that they left that they could have gone back to, but the beginning just kind of starts off slow, and it just seems a little bit forced. But then once the journey actually starts to happen, it actually gets really, really good. And then, I mean, the third act of the movie, probably like this, a little bit after the second half and towards the end, gets very, very interesting. So, I mean, you'll be kind of glued to your seat, not too much, but like it'll keep you awake. It's pretty good. But there's actually some comedy, which they don't have too much comedy in the video game. So there's some funny parts that's good in this movie that's not forced. I guess I'm slowly transitioning into the pros of the movie now from the cons, besides, a little bit of the weird bad pacing at the beginning. But the pros, really good action. The story isn't all over the place. That's what I can't stand with movies nowadays, is there's so many plot lines going on at one. It's like Star Wars The Last Jedi. I mean, you had the casino planet going on, then you had the other people on the ship going on, and then you had Rey and Luke over here. Like, it was just like, oh my gosh, pick a story and stick with it, and it's exhausting when you have too many different storylines going on all at once in the movie. This is pretty linear, straightforward movie, kind of like some of the games before you get more open worldish. But I like it because the movie, it just flows really well. I mean, I don't know if they were intending it to flow well, but like, I'm like really picky when it comes to pacing in movies. For example, like, everyone talks about how great Rogue One is in Star Wars. I just found the movie really boring. Like, there were just too many like pacing issues. Like, a movie shouldn't be boring, exciting, boring, exciting, boring. Like, just flow. It needs to be like a solid stream. So that's what this movie does once the adventure happens and you get past that first 20 minutes. Like, the movie it's very seamless and it flows. So I really applaud the movie for doing that, especially for a video game movie. So, I mean, this isn't the best movie ever. It's not the worst one. It's better than it is bad. So I recommend seeing it. And it's just a fun movie. And like, the action in it is pretty good. The other thing that I guess I really like that I've seen in a lot of movies lately is when they have like a female antagonist, like the main person, it's like they really, some are in your face with this, and then some are a little subtle, is they're like, look, strong woman, like, we get it. So many movies, they really want to, like, I guess, kind of put it in your face. Hey, the main character is a female and she's strong and tough. This movie doesn't do that. Like, instead of, you know, her making a reference like, oh, you just got beat up by a girl, like some cheesy catch line like that, or, oh, you shouldn't mess with women or underestimate women, or, I mean, I don't want to go into some rant, but like so many movies will like really kind of like really point out that, you know, like try to do a man versus female type thing. So this movie, instead of it telling you, hey, she's a strong female, or hey, she's brave and she's a female too. Like, I didn't see the Brave movie, but I'm assuming they try to say, okay, she's not brave because she's a princess, and they probably throw in some little gender stuff with that. But in Tomb Raider, they don't mention anything about her being a female. There's nothing to do with her being a girl versus the guys. None of that. They just show you that she's a strong female by showing you she's a strong female. They don't say it. They don't have any dialogue that points it out. There's no catchphrases or cheesy things. I mean, even in Lord of the Rings, towards one of the end, like one of the girl princesses does like some battle thing, and then she has to say, "I'm not a man, I'm a woman," or something like that. I forgot the line. You know, you can comment and correct that, but I was just like, really, so predictable. So I really applaud this movie for not trying to make it all like feminist empowerment, and they just show, hey, she's a strong female. Everyone likes her. She's cool. She's smart. She's athletic. Yeah, so, you know, it's really nice where they just kind of have the action show you versus the dialogue. And, you know, people aren't that stupid. Like, they can tell, oh, female, strong, kick butt, jump over big, giant gorges and gaps. Oh, wow, she's athletic. Like, no, like, we can figure it out. So I really applaud that movie for doing this. So I just recommend going and seeing it. It's just a fun kind of blockbuster that's not too over the top like a Transformers movie. So if you have the time, go see it. Get some popcorn, grab a soda, maybe some candy, and just go with your friends and watch the movie, and you'll have a fun time. Like, it's a fun movie and it's not too cheesy. So definitely a good job for the screenwriters and everybody for doing this Tomb Raider movie and not making it too stupid. So I definitely give this movie, I don't want to say a 4 out of 5. I guess I'll do a 10 scale. I'd give it a 7 out of 10 and maybe closer to an 8. So 7.5. You know, again, like if you're just looking for a fun movie, then it's definitely like closer to an 8. But, you know, again, it's not going to be a cinematic masterpiece, but there's way more good than bad. So again, go see it. If you watch this whole video, thank you. Sorry I ranted, but I'm just kind of like really passionate about this. So subscribe, and I should have a Fortnite video in 4K coming out sometime soon. Thanks.